Hey, happy Oonsday, guys. Here's Cutie Monster. I just opened up the door. I hesitated on giving her anything just to see how she'd react, and no kidding, she grabbed my jeans with her teeth and she pulled. She was absolutely fed up with me. And this is leading to bigger questions I have and bigger concerns that I have. Is I used to think that what I'm giving them is supplemental, that they don't rely on me, and I'm starting to wonder how true that actually is. They're coming earlier and earlier, and it's caught the attention of another neighbor. And we got a letter from another neighbor who's very disturbed, and this has me really rattled. Look at her. She's not happy with the peanuts. She wants more, and this is actually not what I want. And I'm starting to reevaluate all of this. I'm starting to think differently about all of it, and I'm starting to really need some feedback from you guys on this, because this neighbor look at you, basically copied the city laws and mailed them to me. And we had discussed that in a previous video about my city. And even though I am certified as wildlife habitat from the National Wildlife Federation, which my city is promoting, I still think the city laws take precedent over that. So it's this crazy situation I find myself in, where I think the neighbors are starting to band together to try and shut me down. You know, it's becoming very evident I'm the guy in the neighborhood who's feeding these guys, because all roads lead here, and by all roads I mean there's tremendous animal paths going through people's yards, leading across the street and then to my property. I think if I was on 10 acres or 20 acres with woods all around me, I could do this all the live long day without any issues. The thing is I don't live in a situation like that. I have neighbors on all sides of me. And if they're getting upset, and if they want to throw the book at me or threaten me with legal action, and that was kind of implied in this letter, that the neighbor suffers certain health conditions and fears for children and grandchildren, that they want this to stop. And this is what I love so much. And this is all on top of a bunch of things going on here at the house too, with family matters. I'm wondering if I need to just take a pause and try and think clearly about this. It's all still pretty fresh, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. But I can say as much as this is of my own making. I invited these guys into my backyard. They were there before, but I mean, in the numbers they're here now, and at all times of day now. That's obviously on me. I'm putting out a tremendous amount of food, and of course they're going to show up. And am I doing more harm than good? I don't know. I really want to help them out as animals and feed them. If I were to stop, would they be self-sufficient, or would they suffer? These are all questions I have. And if I was forced by law to stop, what would happen? All these thoughts are going through my head. And to be honest, I'm considering a transition. I'm considering starting to put food in the park for them, and slowly getting them out of my yard, and maybe shutting this down before my wife and I find a lawsuit against us if someone gets hurt. And whereas they're very nice and friendly with me, they are starting to get bold. I had company over for many days, and sitting outside with them, I really learned a lot about how much they I thought it was they just trusted me. They seemed to see all other humans close to me as friendly, and they were. Cutie stood up on my uncle. Gertie stood up on the leg of my, or the chair of my sister-in-law. My uncle hand-fed Cutie. They really showed no fear. And that can be an issue with neighbors who want nothing to do with this. And again, it's of my own making, and all of this is for all of us to wrap our heads around. I know a lot of you other people watching are feeding wild animals too. I'm not saying what we're doing is wrong. I'm saying I'm in a predicament surrounded by individuals that don't want this. I want this. The raccoons definitely want it. I think Mr. Squirrel wants it. So, what are your thoughts? Here we are all over again. And I don't know, it just feels like it's getting more serious. I could tell this neighbor made a real effort to document this 3-page letter with legal paperwork in there. So, oh goodness, guys. And if I do have to shut down, boy, that really isn't fair to you guys. And it's not fair to me. We're emotionally invested into these animals. We love them. And to just say, you're off on your own again, just go dig for grubs, you know, they've come this far. That would be just tremendously tough on them. It's going to be really tough on me if I decide to do this. And for you guys, it's really not nice. But that's why these are the beginning of talks. And if I do something like a transition where I start to try and move them to the park with food and decrease slowly what's in my yard to hopefully make a seamless transition, that's dreamy to think that that's going to happen, but that's the best I could come up with. What do you think of that? Because I may have to go that route, actually. And this is just when my channel's really growing, and I don't want it to end. But it may have to. So I want to start planning, and I want to start thinking about the right thing to do for them, for me and my wife, that we're not financially hit with a lawsuit. And I want to do right by you guys, the viewers. So many of you have been so generous donating food and your time and your comments. And I would say for now, just hold off on any of those donations, because if I do decide that I can't feed them back here anymore because pressure from the neighborhood is too strong, I don't want you to feel like you're giving money to a lost cause. Yeah, this is where I find myself right now. So I don't know if anyone else out there has been in a situation similar to this. I know a lot of you out there have experience with raccoons, and if you have advice for me on if I do decide to try to wean them off of my yard, how should I go about that? Do you think my plan sounds like the right way to go? Is just cold turkey the right way to go? Which I'll be honest, I fear them retaliating. She just grabbed my blue jeans moments ago to get her way. And I'm just imagining my wife and I sitting out here and them throwing a fit, going, how dare you? You can't do this to us. Or the house. It's a real possibility. I think with a well-fed animal, you don't have these concerns. But an animal that's used to being well-fed and then it all comes to a screeching halt, I could see there being issues. So yeah, unfortunately, society isn't on the same page with me. And even though my community is recently making efforts to be more wildlife friendly with this program to get your yard certified, I got a nice thank you letter in the mail from another person that is part of that program. And that felt really good. I felt like, wow, there's going to be a community of us out there that really care about wildlife. But the vast majority of this community is not on that page. And the majority of my neighbors are the pesticide happy, perfect lawn. That's their obsession, and when an animal goes through it, they get nervous and they don't want it. And I feel like it's me versus this old guard thinking of neighbors that have been here a long, long time, and they're starting to talk about my wife and I behind our back and what's going on here, and they seem to want it to stop. And when they're telling me the laws and there's implied threats of legal repercussions, it's got my attention. And I don't want to jeopardize my wife and ours future. So, and I really don't know. I guess it would take someone getting injured or having to go to the hospital. I mean, these guys are really nice. They were real nice to my company, but I can see, let's say someone doesn't have food and they're not getting enough in my backyard because I'm on vacation or something. Would they maybe do a nip to try and get someone's attention, and then someone rushes to the hospital, and then someone points the finger at me, and that whole process begins? So if anything, maybe my channel will serve as a reality instructional set of videos on, if you're an animal feeder like me and things has to end, what do you do? Because I don't know how else to go forward with my channel. This is what I like. This is what I love to do. And if it has to stop, I have no idea what would become of Oonsday. But I would probably try, if I do this transition thing, I'll probably show videos on that so people see how I go about it, to see if it's successful. And it's going to be emotionally painful, though, because she's my cutie monster. And she's probably got babies out there. Yeah, I just don't know what to do. So, okay, guys, like I told you in the past, I consider you all a part of my large raccoon family, fellow lovers of wildlife, animal feeders. And I said I would have all these discussions out in the open with you. So that's what's going on. And I'd appreciate your input, but please know that it's a real possibility that I might have to wind this all down, as much as I don't want it. I'd say happy Oonsday, but it's not happy at all.